Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari's essay, What is a Minor Literature? Explores the concept of minor literature, with a particular focus on the works of Franz Kafka. This essay is a part of their collaborative work, Kafka, Towards a Minor Literature. Here's a brief overview. What is a minor literature? Minor literature defined. Deleuze and Guattari propose the concept of minor literature as a form of literature that is produced by minority groups within a major language. It's characterized by its connection to a minority identity, whether that be linguistic, cultural, or political. Characteristics of minor literature. Deterritorialization. Minor literature involves a process of deterritorialization, where it breaks away from the mainstream or dominant culture. Becoming intense. It is marked by a becoming intense, a process where the language undergoes transformations and becomes a means of expression for the oppressed. Kafka. A paradigm of minor literature. Kafka's works are considered paradigmatic examples of minor literature. Even though he wrote in German, his work reflects the characteristics of minor literature as he expressed the experience of a minority within the German-speaking world. Bilingualism is a tool. Minor literature often involves bilingualism or multilingualism. In the case of Kafka, his use of German and Czech is cited as an example. The authors argue that this bilingualism contributes to the deterritorialization of language. Political and social context. Minor literature is closely tied to political and social contexts. It often emerges in response to oppressive political regimes or cultural dominance. Kafka's work is seen as a response to the social and political conditions of his time. Kafka, Towards a Minor Literature, in The Norton Anthology of Theory and Criticism, 2001. The essay is included in The Norton Anthology of Theory and Criticism, edited by Vincent B. Leach, and spans pages 1593–1601. The anthology provides readers with a comprehensive collection of key theoretical and critical texts from various thinkers and movements in literary theory. Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of minor literature, especially in relation to Kafka, contributes to discussions on language, identity, and the transformative power of literature within marginalized or oppressed communities. Here are some main arguments presented by Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari in What is a Minor Literature? With examples from Franz Kafka's work. Deterritorialization and becoming intense. Argument. Minor literature involves the deterritorialization of language, breaking away from the dominant culture. It also undergoes a becoming intense, transforming the language into a means of expression for the oppressed. Example. Kafka's use of German and Czech languages in his writing represents a deterritorialization, as he incorporates elements from different linguistic territories. His unique and intense expression captures the experience of those on the margins. Bilingualism and multilingualism. Argument. Minor literature often features bilingualism or multilingualism, contributing to the destabilization of language and the creation of a unique voice. Example. Kafka's ability to write in both German and Czech is cited as an example of bilingualism. The authors argue that this linguistic duality is crucial for the expression of a minor literature, as it disrupts the standard use of language. Political and social context. Argument. Minor literature is closely connected to the political and social context in which it emerges. It often serves as a response to oppressive political regimes or cultural dominance. Example. Kafka's works, such as The Trial and The Castle, are interpreted as responses to the socio-political conditions of his time, particularly the bureaucratic and authoritarian structures. The themes in his writing reflect the struggles and anxieties of individuals within such oppressive systems. Collective aspects of minor literature. Argument. Minor literature is not just the work of an individual author, it involves a collective process of expression and resistance. Example. Deleuze and Guattari argue that Kafka's works are not solely the product of his individual genius but are part of a collective expression of a minority group within the German-speaking world. The themes and struggles in Kafka's writings resonate with the collective experiences of a marginalized community. Minor literature is a mode of resistance. Argument. Minor literature becomes a form of resistance against majoritarian forces, providing a platform for marginalized voices. Example. Kafka's writings, with their surreal and allegorical elements, are seen as a mode of resistance against the oppressive forces of his time. Through his unique literary style, Kafka offers a space for the expression of dissent and critique. These arguments collectively contribute to the conceptualization of minor literature as a dynamic and transformative force that emerges within minority communities and challenges dominant linguistic and cultural norms. Kafka's works serve as a primary example illustrating these theoretical propositions. In their essay, What is a Minor Literature? From Kafka Towards a Minor Literature, Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari explore the concept of minor literature, using Franz Kafka's works as a primary example. The key arguments and ideas can be summarized as follows. Deterritorialization and becoming intense. Minor literature involves a process of deterritorialization, breaking away from dominant cultural norms. Becoming intense transforms the language into a means of expression for the oppressed. Bilingualism and multilingualism. Minor literature often features bilingualism or multilingualism, disrupting traditional language structures. Kafka's use of German and Czech exemplifies this linguistic duality. Political and social context. Minor literature emerges in response to oppressive political regimes or cultural dominance. Kafka's works, such as The Trial and The Castle, reflect the socio-political conditions of his time. Collective aspects of minor literature. Minor literature is a collective expression, not solely the work of an individual author. Kafka's writings resonate with the collective experiences of a minority group within the German-speaking world. Minor literature is a mode of resistance. It serves as a form of resistance against majoritarian forces. Kafka's unique literary style provides a space for the expression of dissent and critique. Overall, the essay argues that minor literature is a dynamic and transformative force emerging within minority communities, challenging dominant linguistic and cultural norms. Kafka's works are presented as paradigmatic examples illustrating these theoretical concepts. Here is an analysis of key aspects of Deleuze and Guattari's ideas on minor literature as presented in What is a Minor Literature? With a focus on Franz Kafka. Deterritorialization and becoming intense. Analysis. The concept of deterritorialization is crucial in understanding how minor literature functions. By breaking away from dominant cultural norms, it allows for the expression of marginalized voices. The idea of becoming intense suggests that the language undergoes a transformation, becoming a powerful tool for expressing the experiences of the oppressed. Significance. This concept challenges the fixed and established norms of language, allowing for a more fluid and dynamic mode of expression that resonates with the experiences of minority groups. Bilingualism and multilingualism. Analysis. Bilingualism or multilingualism is seen as a disruptive force that contributes to the deterritorialization of language. Kafka's use of both German and Czech is emblematic of this disruption, illustrating how linguistic duality can serve as a means of resistance. Significance. Multilingualism is not merely a linguistic feature but a political act, symbolizing the hybrid identity of a minority group and challenging linguistic hierarchies. Political and social context. Analysis. Minor literature is deeply intertwined with the political and social context in which it emerges. Kafka's works are viewed as responses to the bureaucratic and authoritarian structures of his time. The themes in his writing reflect the struggles and anxieties of individuals within oppressive systems. Significance. This highlights the importance of understanding literature within its historical and socio-political context. Minor literature becomes a means of engaging with and critiquing the prevailing social conditions. Collective aspects of minor literature. Analysis. The notion that minor literature is a collective expression challenges the conventional view of the solitary genius. Kafka's works are seen as part of a collective effort, reflecting the experiences and voices of a minority group. Significance. This emphasizes the communal and shared nature of the creative process, suggesting that minor literature is inherently connected to the collective identity and struggles of a marginalized community. Minor literature is a mode of resistance. Analysis. Minor literature serves as a form of resistance against majoritarian forces. Kafka's unconventional and surreal narratives are interpreted as a means of dissent and critique against oppressive societal structures. Significance. It underscores the transformative potential of literature, showing how it can be a tool for resistance, subversion, and the articulation of alternative narratives. In summary, Deleuze and Guattari's analysis of minor literature provides a framework for understanding the political, linguistic, and collective dimensions of literature. Through the lens of Kafka's works, they illustrate how minor literature operates as a dynamic force that challenges established norms and gives voice to the marginalized. In Franz Kafka's works, particularly those analyzed by Gilles Deleuze and Félix Guattari in Kafka, Towards a Minor Literature, several recurring themes can be identified. Here are some key themes along with examples from Kafka's writings. Bureaucratic absurdity. Example. In The Trial, the protagonist, Joseph K., finds himself entangled in a nightmarish legal system without understanding the charges against him. The bureaucratic absurdity and the faceless, labyrinthine nature of the legal process reflect Kafka's exploration of the dehumanizing effects of bureaucracy. Existential alienation. Example. The theme of existential alienation is pervasive in The Metamorphosis, where Gregor Samsa wakes up to find himself transformed into a giant insect. The story explores the isolation and estrangement he experiences from his family and society, reflecting broader existential concerns. Power structures and oppression. Example. The Castle delves into the theme of power structures and oppression. The protagonist, K, attempts to navigate the bureaucratic and hierarchical systems of the castle, representing a futile struggle against an arbitrary and inaccessible authority. Search for meaning and identity. Example. In various works, including The Trial and The Castle, characters embark on quests to find meaning and identity. The ambiguity surrounding their purpose and the elusive nature of truth contribute to a sense of existential searching and unease. Surreal and absurd realities. Example. Kafka often employs surreal and absurd elements to depict bizarre realities. In The Metamorphosis, the transformation of Gregor into an insect is a prime example of how Kafka utilizes the absurd to explore the surreal and disconcerting aspects of existence. The individual versus society. Example. The tension between the individual and society is evident in many of Kafka's works. Characters such as Joseph K. and K. from The Castle grapple with societal expectations and norms, highlighting the struggle of the individual against the collective forces that seek to define and control them. Unattainable goals and futility. Example. In The Trial, Joseph K.'s attempts to understand and navigate the legal system are marked by futility. The unattainability of clarity and justice underscores the theme of existential despair and the impossibility of achieving meaningful goals within an irrational and oppressive world. Metaphors of transformation. Example. The metamorphosis of characters, such as Gregor Samsa in The Metamorphosis, serves as a metaphor for the transformative nature of human existence. Kafka employs physical transformations to symbolize inner changes and the challenges of adapting to one's evolving identity. Labyrinthine structures. Example. Kafka frequently employs labyrinthine and maze-like structures in his narratives, as seen in The Trial and The Castle. These settings symbolize the complexity and confusion inherent in the characters' journeys as they navigate convoluted systems and environments. Ambiguity and uncertainty. Example. Kafka's narratives are often characterized by ambiguity and unresolved mysteries. In The Trial, the ambiguity surrounding Joseph K.'s charges and the overall purpose of the legal proceedings adds to the atmosphere of uncertainty, inviting readers to contemplate the meaning of the narrative. These themes collectively contribute to Kafka's unique literary style and his exploration of the human condition within a world marked by absurdity, bureaucracy, and the struggle for meaning. Significance, relevance, legacy, contribution, and impact of Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of Kafka's minor literature. Significance. Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of minor literature, especially in the context of Franz Kafka, is significant for its theoretical contribution to literary studies and philosophy. It challenges conventional ideas about literature, language, and identity. Relevance. The concept of minor literature remains relevant in discussions about the power dynamics inherent in language, the impact of political and social contexts on artistic expression, and the role of literature in resistance against dominant forces. Legacy. Deleuze and Guattari's work on Kafka's minor literature has left a lasting legacy in literary theory. Their ideas continue to influence scholars, particularly those interested in post-structuralism, post-colonialism, and the politics of language. Contribution. Their contribution lies in introducing the concept of minor literature, providing a framework for understanding how literature can be a tool for resistance and expression for marginalized groups. They expanded the discussion beyond individual creativity to encompass collective identity and struggles. Impact on literary theory. Deleuze and Guattari's ideas have had a profound impact on literary theory by challenging traditional notions of authorship, language, and the relationship between literature and politics. Their work has influenced subsequent generations of scholars and thinkers in the fields of postmodernism and cultural studies. Impact on Kafka studies. The exploration of Kafka's minor literature has enriched Kafka studies, offering a lens through which his works can be understood beyond the individual genius paradigm. It encourages a focus on the collective, political, and linguistic dimensions of Kafka's writing. Understanding power dynamics. Deleuze and Guattari's insights into the power dynamics within language and literature have broader implications for understanding how marginalized voices can challenge and reshape cultural and linguistic norms. Political and cultural implications. Their work has implications for political and cultural studies, emphasizing the role of literature in reflecting and resisting oppressive systems. It encourages a critical examination of the relationships between literature, power, and social structures. Expanding literary horizons. The concept of minor literature has broadened the scope of literary analysis, prompting scholars to consider the socio-political contexts of literary production and the ways in which literature can engage with and subvert dominant ideologies. Influence on postcolonial studies. Deleuze and Guattari's ideas on minor literature have found resonance in postcolonial studies, where scholars explore how literature from colonized or marginalized groups can function as a form of resistance and cultural expression. In summary, Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of Kafka's minor literature has had a profound impact on literary theory, expanding our understanding of literature's role in societal dynamics and providing a framework for analyzing the complex relationships between language, power, and identity. Their ideas continue to shape discussions in the realms of philosophy, cultural studies, and literature. Let's critically examine Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of Kafka's minor literature, considering both positive aspects and potential critiques. Positive aspects. Innovative conceptualization. Comment. Deleuze and Guattari's conceptualization of minor literature is innovative and thought-provoking. It offers a fresh perspective on the relationship between literature and power, moving beyond traditional notions of authorship and individual creativity. Collective dimension. Comment. The emphasis on the collective nature of minor literature is a valuable contribution. It broadens the understanding of literature by highlighting the communal aspects of creative expression, challenging the idea of the solitary genius. Relevance to political and social contexts. Comment. The link between minor literature and political, social contexts is significant. It encourages readers to examine literature as a product of its environment, reflecting the struggles and resistances of minority or marginalized groups. Challenges linguistic hierarchies. Comment. The focus on bilingualism and multilingualism as tools of resistance challenges linguistic hierarchies. This resonates well with postcolonial and minority language studies, encouraging a re-evaluation of language dynamics. Impact on literary theory. Comment. Deleuze and Guattari have made a lasting impact on literary theory, influencing subsequent discussions on postmodernism, post-structuralism, and the intersections of literature with philosophy and cultural studies. Potential critiques. Overemphasis on collective identity. Comment. While the emphasis on collective identity is valuable, there's a risk of overlooking the agency and uniqueness of individual authors within minority groups. It may flatten the diversity of voices within a community. Limited applicability. Comment. The concept of minor literature might have limited applicability beyond specific historical and cultural contexts. It may not fully capture the complexities of literature in diverse settings or within different minority groups. Underplaying authorial intent. Comment. The theory somewhat underplays the importance of individual authorial intent. While collective aspects are highlighted, the role of the author as a conscious creator might be downplayed, especially in the case of Kafka's works. Lack of practical guidance. Comment. The theory, at times, provides abstract concepts without clear practical guidance for literary analysis. It might be challenging for scholars to operationalize these ideas in concrete ways when examining specific texts. Potential essentialization. Comment. There's a risk of essentializing minority literature by assuming a homogeneity of experience within a particular group. The theory should be cautious not to oversimplify the diverse narratives and voices within minority communities. Application to other genres. Comment. The theory is primarily focused on literary works, and its applicability to other forms of cultural expression, film, music, etc., is not extensively explored. Its scope may be limited in addressing the broader spectrum of cultural production. In conclusion, while Deleuze and Guattari's exploration of minor literature offers valuable insights, it is not without its potential limitations and critiques. Its impact on literary theory is undeniable, but scholars must be attentive to the challenges and nuances inherent in applying these ideas across diverse cultural and literary landscapes.